وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله، فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن أمي رسول الله. فقلت نعم، ها هو معه لديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتعزن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسيي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتعزن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بزعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. اللهم صل. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ بي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومى بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وهامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يعلمني ما يعلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، واذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي، إني ما خلقت سماعا مبنية ولا أرضا مدهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مذية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل يا رب تعزن لي نهبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله، العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماعا مبنية ولا أرضا مدهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مذية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم محبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تعزن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله، إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء. فقال لي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا محبين إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام وإذن الله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي الثانية يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا محبين وفيهم محموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام وإذن والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
پر محمد و آل محمد بلندتر صلوات. وہ گھر کے حکم جہاں فاطمہ کے چلتے ہیں، وہ گھر کے حکم جہاں فاطمہ کے چلتے ہیں. تمام کام وہیں سے، تمام کام وہیں سے خدا کے چلتے ہیں. وہ گھر کے حکم جہاں فاطمہ کے چلتے ہیں. یہ کیسی راہ گزر ہے، یہ کون سا در ہے. یہ کیسی راہ گزر ہے، یہ کون سا در ہے کہ مصطفیٰ بھی یہاں سر جھکا کے چلتے ہیں. وہ گھر کے حکم جہاں فاطمہ کے چلتے ہیں. کہ جیسے ہاتھ میں المائدہ کا سورہ ہو، کہ جیسے ہاتھ میں المائدہ کا سورہ ہو، ملک یوں روٹیاں تیری اٹھا کے چلتے ہیں. وہ گھر کے حکم جہاں فاطمہ کے چلتے ہیں. اے حر نہ گھبرا یہ کربو بلا کی بستی ہے. اے حر نہ گھبرا یہ کربو بلا کی بستی ہے. یہاں پہ فیصلے آلے آبا کے چلتے ہیں. وہ گھر کے حکم جہاں فاطمہ کے چلتے ہیں. یہ تیرے فاقوں کا صدقہ ہے اے حسین کی ماں. یہ تیرے فاقوں کا صدقہ ہے اے حسین کی ماں. جو کر سکون سے اہلِ عزا کے چلتے ہیں. وہ گھر کے حکم جہاں فاطمہ کے چلتے ہیں. تمام کام وہیں سے، تمام کام وہیں سے خدا کے چلتے ہیں. وہ گھر کے حکم جہاں فاطمہ کے چلتے ہیں. پر محمد و آل محمد بلندتر صلوات.
بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات. So I'd like to welcome Brother Sayyid Ali Kazmi to come drive the lecture for tonight. A little background on Sayyid. So first and foremost, he's a dedicated student scholar specializing in comparative religion and esoteric hermeneutics, which I thought is pretty impressive. Another is he's also the co-founder of both the Nikma and the group ILMs. Found out about it today. I think all of y'all should check it out. And he is also the CEO of Amal Cybersecurity Firm. So please, with a grand salawat, let's all introduce Sayyid. Brother Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. For the marhumin of Mu'mineen present here and for the marhumin who have no one to recite one for them, the ones in Palestine, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, Pakistan, and across the world who have lost their lives only because they identify as Shia of Ali, Fatiha. Bismillah. Also, a current community member from Al Murtaza was in a car accident recently. Please recite Amma Yajiba 5 times for his health. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma Yujibul Mutarra idha da'u wa yakshifu su. Amma Yujibul Mustarra idha da'u wa yakshifu su. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. The name of the community member is Brother Zulfikar Jafri, for those of you who didn't know. May he be cured and granted lasting health. Bihaqqi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Salawat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على وصلى الله وسلم على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين سيدنا أبو القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أما بعد قال الله في القرآن الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء ويجعلكم الخلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. This is recited from Surah Naml, which is Surah number 27 of the Quran, verse 62. The translation is, O who listens to the distressed soul when it does the dua and relieves its suffering and makes you the inheritors of the earth. Can there ever be another God besides Allah? High is Allah above what they ascribe with Him. First of all, I'd like to thank the management of Al Murtaza Center for inviting me as only a mere student who is on a journey himself of discovering what the purpose of life is. So I apologize for any shortcomings. Next, I would like to thank my young brothers from AEH, Alamdar Hussain, who are vying for unity within all centers of Houston. Let me tell you that. You're my Matmi brothers, my brothers in Azadari and in faith. And given that your name is Alamdar Hussain, I wanted to quote something from Abul Fadl al-Abbas ibn Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Allahumma. The day Imam Hussain was leaving from Makkah towards Karbala, a young Hazrat Abbas stands on top of the Kaaba and gives a khutbah, a lecture. I'm just going to read a small part of it that may relate to you, right? Because you're Matmis. Zanjiris, right? Zanjir, Zanz, that's the correct word if I'm using it? Correct, right? So this is what he said. Quote, are you trying to compete with those who played with death during their childhood? Imagine how brave they must be to do such a thing in their youth. You dare challenge them in their adult life? End quote. That was Hazrat Abbas, right? So, as Hazadars, as Matamis, never let this part of your identity fade away. Never, right? Embrace who you are and never hesitate to remind the world that this Matam is a powerful protest against the injustice inflicted upon us by the oppressors, past and present. Let your voice be the beacon for those still suffering from oppression in various corners of the world. Stand tall. Continue with courage, knowing that your actions inspire others. And keep the spirit of Matam, which is a living embodiment of resistance, alive. I was telling my brother Ali Zaidi earlier that I had written a completely different speech that I had memorized, and then I completely let go, completely deleted it, and rewrote everything. And I finished writing this at 3 p.m. today. So just FYI on that. That's why I'm reading off of this, right? So, while the original topic was not this, I want to take a moment to share an important realization I've had through my work with multiple communities over the years. I'm originally from LA, moved to the Bay Area, and I've been in Houston less than 5 years. But I've worked in multiple communities, I've worked with multiple nonprofits across the United States and the world. Too often, we fall into the habit of reciting Arabic du'as and surahs without truly understanding their profound message. What does it mean? Right? We sometimes develop a mindset that only Azadari is our job. Azadari is ours because we're from South Asia. While the deeper knowledge and traditional teachings are reserved for the Arabs and the Persians. But my dear brothers and sisters, in this age of technological advancements, we are blessed with access to religious tools and resources right at our fingertips, especially living in the USA. Hence, the new initiative that Brother Ali Zaidi spoke about is called I-Alams, right? Did you get the homotone in there? No? It's I, pretty much saying internet, and then Alams, A-L-A-M-S, ialams.com. You can go ahead and look at it, right? It stands for Initiative for Academic Learning and Moral Spirituality. Think of it as a religious education system designed to mirror a Hausa without necessarily calling it one. The subjects will include fiqh, usul, eschatology, history, mantiq, more, tailored specifically for high schoolers, college students, as well as young professionals who do not have enough time to dedicate towards these subjects, but can still spend 2 to 3 hours a week on it. So, this is for Azadars, by Azadars. That's what I like to call it, right? With that, why this and why now? We unfortunately are in a time and a place where our youth are being challenged by sources, external and internal. There are threats, internal and external, attacking the core belief systems of our youth. Y'all. There's so much information being thrown at you all in this age of information that you feel, not most of you, but majority of you, and I'm not targeting y'all here because you guys are here, talking about a lot of people who are not here or who choose not to come to religious centers, right? That they feel it's better to just turn off the religious side completely. Centers are a waste of time. Maulanas, alims wearing the mamas don't know better. Why should I waste my time in a center, right? And some of us, we only like to focus on matam. Why do everything else, right? And then there are other set of threats that start from there. We'll get into them, right? And what do I mean? And why am I more worried about my Matami and Azadar brothers? because you are at least trying to walk on the right path. You are trying to eventually get to the path of Imam Ali alayhi salam, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, and the Ahlul Bayt. Right? Even though I have the ayats written here, I'll try to just do the translations. Surah 7 of the Quran, Al-Araf, ayat 16, it says what? Somebody is waiting for you on that path. He's already there. He's standing there for you, waiting for you, right? He says, now that you have allowed me to rebel and go astray, I will surely lie in wait for them. Them. Y'all. As an ambush on your straight path, Sirat al-Mustaqim, right? And y'all can listen to this again and find out Surah 7, ayat 16, right? To lure them away from the Sirat. So as you guys are trying to get on the right path, with your azadari and matam and namaz and everything else, there's somebody already saying, hey, yeah, this is awesome, it's great, but don't you think this is wrong in this way? Don't you think that is wrong in this way? Maybe you should do this. It says the translation as ambush. Ambushes don't happen externally, my friends. They happen from internal people. Okay? So recognize that. Recognize that. Whereas a lot of times we see things, we see people, they might look okay at a higher level in front of you, right? But it's crucial to regularly assess yourselves and them for any issues that could be present below the surface of that, right? What do I mean? Let me get back to that, right? Currently, for those observing the international landscape and the politics and everything that's happening around the world, in all your discussions in your WhatsApp groups, on your Facebooks, Instagrams, Snapchat, and TikToks, I guess. I don't have a TikTok, but still, those of you use it, right? It is evident that our community is being targeted, right? It is being targeted to a certain degree. People realize who the Shias are. Did you see the picture that Netanyahu put when he was standing at the UN? What he put up? And he said the blessed and the cursed. Every single country in the cursed was a Shia country, by the way, or where majority of the Shias exist. So they know who we are. Okay? So, let me ask you this. What is the justice of Imam Ali? Right? Which teaches us that oppression against anyone, anywhere, is an affront to humanity as a whole. Not just to that person, that specific group, as a whole, right? Oppression, anyone, anywhere, to anyone. Even if they have done something wrong to you. And we have examples from the Ahlul Bayt to prove that, right? They've consistently demonstrated to us, they've consistently showed compassion towards their adversaries. For example, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam extended aid to who? The one who killed his brother when the event of Hara was happening. You guys can look it up. Right? Imam Raza showed clemency towards Harun and Mamun, guiding them towards certain things. And what did they do to the Imams? Right? And examples can go on and on, right? But as the followers of Ali, as Azadars, as Matamis, this is who we are. Showing clemency, raising the voice, giving hope to the hopeless. This is our identity. So to ignore the world and continue with just Azadari undermines the entire essence of the legacy and the might of the Bani Hashim that you continue to carry on and represent through your Azadari. The quote I read from Hazrat Abbas earlier, right at the start, that's a Bani Hashim quote. When you do Zanjir, putting your lives on the line to a certain degree, you represent the Bani Hashims. But are you living the life of a Bani Hashim? That's the question. Right? That's the question. So we should speak out. We should raise our voices, create meaningful narratives through media, through social media, however, We must do it strategically and wisely, without falling into the traps of impulsive reactions and emotional reactions that could harm our communities. I'm going to straightly say that, right? Don't do things that'll harm your community, because there are ways to raise your voice properly. How many of you have heard of Stacey Abrams? Anyone? No one? Stacey Abrams? Oh, there you go. Thank you, Uncle, in the back. One person. Okay. She's a representative from Georgia, right? She's actually a politician. Pretty famous one at that, right? Did you know it? Her time in college, she was an activist, but a smart activist. And why do I say that? Do you know she actually burned the flag of Georgia on the state capitol itself? Never got arrested, no cases filed, nothing happened, and became a historical figure for doing so. A champion of human rights and everything else. Why? Because at that time, the Georgia flag had incorporated the Confederate battle flag, which is racist, by the way. She burned it. No cases filed. Cops are actually protecting her. How? How did she do it? She got a permit for the protest. She got a permit and ensured that she could burn the flag according to the amendments. I don't want to get into which ones, probably the first, right? Informed the Capitol Police and then invited media. Nobody cared about the smartness she showed in doing all of that, but everybody saw what? Somebody standing up against a racial flag, a racist flag, right? A racist flag was on top of the Capitol that was burned in front of the Capitol that day. And Georgia changed their flag. That is smart activism. I'm going to say something, might become controversial, but anyhow, do you know that Hamas and Hezbollah are FTOs in the eyes of the US administration currently? They're labeled as FTOs, foreign terrorist organizations, right? But due to the First Amendment, you can go out on the street, online, social media, talk about why you think they shouldn't be on that FTO list. Do it smartly, right? You can talk about why foreign policy is bad, but even unintentionally helping them in any way is actually a crime. But you, as Americans, can voice your reason. Now you must be wondering, why exactly am I talking to you guys about this? Because you represent the Azadars. You represent the Matamis. You are the first ones, I believe personally, if the Imam comes and says we need to fight, you'll be the first one saying our lives are for you, let's go. That's why I'm talking to you in this matter. Because you are the hope. And inshallah, through the Enigma project that I'm part of, we're also going to have lawyers invited and discussing in terms of what can you do, what you cannot do, because I don't want my brothers who are Azadars to get caught up in all of this and then don't have a future, get kicked off colleges, can't get internships, can't get proper jobs. But if you do it smartly, you can do all of that, right? So be smart about what you do. You have careers. Plan for 5 to 10 years ahead, right? Now I would like to talk about the internal threat. This is a good one. And I won't hesitate to label people as kafirs, disbelievers, because I believe it so. And because my Imam says so. Because these are the principles that the Imam upheld. There are people in this day and age who do matam, are called extreme azadars, and then, na'uzubillah, say Ali Jalla Jalalahu. As I said, I'm not going to be afraid here. I'm not getting paid for this, so I'll be open. We all know them. I can see the smiles, right? It's not acceptable. And as an azadar, we should not be accepting it at all, right? There are people residing in places, especially in Europe, Pakistan, and a few people calling themselves Abidi out of Germany who do these kind of things. Yeah, I'm not afraid. If you're going to talk against my Imam and the teachings of the Imam, I will speak up against you because I am a Matami. I am an Azadar. And it hurts me to see that. It hurts me to see people like that leading the matmis of today and younger folks getting on that train for some reason. Asan bhai, I guess, is that okay? I can be open about this stuff? Okay. Just wanted to make sure you're not going to kick me out. Okay. Right? These deceptions and beliefs have made its way into the Houston community. You all know that. So we don't have to act surprised, but we have to stay vigilant, right? Here's the deal. Performing matam alone does not define a true follower and azadar. A person who engages in matam religiously, right? Like a tasbih, that's what you want to call matam, and the zikr of Ali like a tasbih, but then does not do namaz on time or at all, are you really considered a true Shia of Imam Ali? That's a question for you to ask yourself, not me, right? That's for y'all, right? And the same applies in reverse, by the way. Do all the namaz you want, but if you cannot spend 5 minutes in azhar, then we have the same problem. This is according to the principles of the Imams, right? Imam Ali, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, every single Imam, all the martyrs of Karbala sacrificed their lives to preserve the true teachings of religion. Religion existed in Karbala too, but the true teachings. I ask you, we mourn their deaths, we cry for them, we do matam for them. How many of you read the wills of the Imams that they've written down and given it to their sons? Here's my will to you. Will is a wajib thing in Islam, by the way. How many of you have read it? Surely you follow all the Imams, so you must have read the wills. If not, let me tell you in a nutshell what they said. Do not forget the namaz and the Quran, steadfast in salah and commitment to the teachings of the Quran, and always take care of the poor. That's in a nutshell what every single Imam's will said. So if the Imam is writing a will down to his sons, making sure he's doing that, then how is we as Adars are not doing that? Right? So, with that said, just remember the ones who refuse to say the salam and straight up say Ya Ali Madad and not say Ya Ali Madad after doing the salam on you. So they don't want to send safety and peace upon you and do ghulu in the case of Imam Ali alayhi salam. They are najis. They are kafirs. And I'm willing to prove that with religion. Anybody can have a debate with me. I have no problems. So treat them as such. And with that, I've reached with my last point because I tried to keep it as short as possible. But this is a point very close to my heart, and I've been meaning to talk about it for a while now. This hurts me the most when I interact with the youth. I listen to the youth. I try to stand outside in multiple centers just listening to how they're discussing, how they're talking, and even some adults within the community, unfortunately. Derogatory words, and as in Urdu it's called galiyan. Racist words. What the bleep? Hey you bleep. How are you bleep? Where in the bleep you been? What's going on, my bleep? That's the reality. If you listen to the average conversation of a Muslim youth talking to each other, especially the Shias, unfortunately, this is what you will hear. Expletives, bad words, cuss words. In fact, foul language is often heard as part of their everyday life at school, universities, text messages. And I've done my research. I'm a data-driven person. I've gone through the groups. I've gone through the WhatsApp groups. I've gone through the Discords. I've seen all that. And that's how they even talk on text, not just by mouth. What's worse is, and here's what I'm giving you credit, they use these words without thinking, without remorse, and even without realizing that these words are obscene in some cases, because I've had this discussion with a few, and they didn't realize this is what it meant. The problem is, we, like our non-Muslim, non-Shia peers, seem to be completely desensitized to the use of foul language within everyday conversations. And yet, at times when I've spoken to a few youth, this is what I get in reply. Oh, come on, this is how everyone talks. But I thought you were an azadar, right? Okay. This is how I express myself. What do you mean this is bad? This is okay, right? We just joke around with each other. We don't mean any harm. These are actual sentences I keep writing down. I actually just WhatsApp to myself because I've heard it and I WhatsApp, right? Here's the deal, brothers. Here's the deal. You call yourself azadars, Shia. You are not everybody. You cannot say that we are the dua of Fatima al-Zahra, that we are the prayer of that lady of heaven, and then do all of this in the same language. You just cannot do it. This is not how everybody should talk. If everybody talks this way, you shouldn't talk this way. Right? And it should not be a joke at all, right? I'll say one thing, and then I'll move on. Cussing and using foul language should not be part of an azadar's vocabulary. Period. Period. And sad to say, it's not just the youth. We have adults doing a lot of the same stuff. Right? Who will speak very decently when they're inside the centers, but as soon as they go outside, I don't know what happens. Right? And I've seen people do it under the shadow of the alam itself. That's the reality. Right? And then I know I'm taking time, so I'll just say everyone should go and read Surah 49, Al-Hujurat of the Quran, verse 11. Allah is literally talking about this in the Quran. Literally talking about this. And how somebody who does this is a wrongdoer. Right? As followers of Ahlul Bayt, we must strive to improve ourselves and hold each other accountable. As dedicated azadars of Imam Hussein, to rise and encourage one another to live with the awareness that what you have done is wrong. It's okay. Right? Why? Because this, after years and years of speaking like this, is habitual. It may seem difficult to change. However, let's ask this, right? And let's be frank. When has the path of an azadar ever been easy? Right? We are the followers of Imam Ali alayhi salam, who himself said there will be no time in any era where his true followers will live in complete peace or their path will be easy. Right? It's okay. With that in mind, support each other, guide each other. If someone makes a mistake, let us correct each other with kindness and with brotherhood. With small drops of rain, collectively forms a river. Right? We can't create meaningful change. Why? Because we are the azadars. It's up to us. Right? And then with that, let me ask you this, and this is my final point, I promise. Right? Then why should we not be okay with the imam of our time not meeting us? I've heard this. Some people come to me with questions. Why can't I meet the imam? How come the imam is in existence and is not solving issues, not doing much? Are we ready? Right? Imam, let's put it this way. Imam has said multiple times that I'm available at locations by name. Right? Maghrib and Isha prayers, Masjid al-Sahla in Kufa. Right? On Tuesdays, 15 Shaban in Karbala, Hajj time in Makkah, etc., places in Iran, everywhere else, right? We have an imam awaiting us, his followers. He's not invisible. He's not invisible at all. Like if I'm standing here, the imam was here, you see through him. No. When we say he's hidden, it means that if he were to walk amongst us today, our own actions and shortcomings might prevent us from recognizing him. I recall I took a sociology class in college a while ago, and in that there was a very interesting point, right? That people with similar habits, lifestyles, likes, dislikes, often naturally gravitates towards each other, like you Matamis, right? A Matami can go anywhere in the world and will easily assimilate. Why? Because there's Matam happening, goes there, makes friends. Likes, right? Have we cultivated the qualities that would make us worthy of the Imam's company? Can we assimilate with the Imam? With what we do and how we present ourselves day to day? Right? Have we improved our language enough, our manners, our behaviors? Is our akhlaq at the point where we can welcome the Imam? Do we practice forgiveness when others do us wrong? If we haven't reached that standard, can we truly question why we haven't had the privilege of meeting the Imam yet? That's the question, right? According to an authentic hadith, and I'll leave this with you, in Kafi and in Bihar, it is believed that after Fajr, every single day for 40 days, if you recite Dua Ahad, you will, in your lifetime, do the ziyarah of the Imam. And this is an authenticated hadith, by the way. It's called Hasan. You want to meet the Imam? Yes. Let's do this. But then, are we really ready to meet the Imam? When we say, Labbaika ya Mahdi, Al-Ajal, do we really want him to appear? And then what when he appears? How do we talk to him? How do we present ourselves? When the Imam comes and asks us, are you truly ready to be my follower? And I'll put it on myself, right? Hey, Ali Kazmi, you spoke this way. You still haven't forgiven this person. You haven't done this yet. You haven't even paid your khums. You want to be in my company? How many times do I see you in the center? How many times have you gone for Friday prayers? How many times have you done dua, not for yourself, but for others? You want to be in my company? Right? So it is up to us, brothers and sisters, at this time in our era to do better and ensure that we meet the Imam of our time. We can be the generation that does that. We have the freedoms here that we are not experiencing across the world. Look at the followers of Imam Ali. Look at the Shia across the world. What's going on? Are you safe everywhere? Are you truly safe? But you do feel safe here. And yet, if we are not able to do our day-to-days and uphold our religious commitments, then does the Imam want to meet us? Does he want to meet us at all? Right? So it is up to us that the Imam wants to not only meet us, but also intercede on our behalf. None of us are Masoom, so we do need the intercession. Correct? So when the Imam comes, we do want him to say, we did sin, I understand, I couldn't pray all the time, I missed 5 Fajrs or 45 Fajrs, but please, can I get in to Jannah? That's intercession. I know him, he used to tell the truth. That's what Imam will intercede by. I know him, he used to do dua for others. I know him, he used to forgive people when they did them wrong. I know him, he used to create unity between 2 brothers when they fought. That's how intercession works. With that, I would like to end my speech because I did promise I'll keep it short. And this was not on the mimbar, this was out here, this is for the youth. And I thank the adults who are sitting here today as well, listening to me. If we may all rise, I want to read Dua Faraj, which is the invocation of the advent of the Imam of our time. And if you can recite with me, please. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ilahi azam al bala wa barih al khafa وانكشف الغطاء وانقطع الرجاء وضاقت الأرض ومنعت السماء وأنت المستعان وإليك المشتقى وعليك المعول في الشدة والرخاء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أولي الأمر الذين فرضت علينا طاعتهم ورفتنا بذلك منزلتهم، ففرج عنا بحقهم فرجا عاجلا قريبا كلمح البصر أو هو أقرب. With your loud voices. يا محمد يا علي يا علي يا محمد يكفياني فإنكما كافيان وانصراني فإنكما ناصران. يا مولانا يا صاحب الزمان الغوث 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 أدركني 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 الساعة 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 الأجل الأجل الأجل. يا أرحم الراحمين بحق محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
So a small message before ziyarat. This will be a monthly program, so please keep your dates open for November 9th. That is expected next program. Mutawajjah ziyarat.
Assalamu alaikum ya Abdullah. Assalamu alaikum ya min Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum ya gharib al-ghuraba. Assalamu alaikum ya mu'in az-zu'afa wal-fuqara. Assalamu alaikum ya ibn ash-shams shamus wa inna nufus ayyuha al-madfun barzatus. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. سيدي أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهر الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.